F1 season is finally back. We've just had the qualifying session for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and after all the testing, the drama and the speculation, it was, you know, the big moment of see where does the land lie in this season. And well, that was actually really close, wasn't it? We'll start with the Q1 session. It was a night race, windy, bit of drama there, but it was absolutely poor from the two Alpines, isn't they? Going to start last. Pierre Gasly 20th and Esteban Ocon 19th. Now, I just did not see them being that far back, to be honest with you. I just really did expect it to be the Haas team who really downplayed their campaign. I mean, we knew Alpine were on the back foot, but wow, they were nowhere near, were they? And P18 for Sargent, and his campaign has sort of just carried on from where he ended last season, didn't he? Way off his teammate, was just disappointed all round. Zhou Guanzu in 17th for Stake, and then beaten by his teammate Bottas in 16th. They have pretty much just ended up where they were last season, but it was mega close, wasn't it? And the stars of the Q1 session, for me, Alex Albon in P9, a fantastic lap from him, and the two Haas's made it into Q2. I mean, they did one better than that, as we'll find out. The bad performances there, really, I think, was just the Alpine. Sargent, Hamilton was in P10. That Mercedes, where their pace was earlier on in the sessions, especially in testing and the right, just sort of disappeared, didn't it? But it was first for Sainz, Stroll and then Verstappen in that session, and it was close, just 1 second, 1.39 from first to last place in that session. So not a massive job for the rest to do, but yeah, it was quite a way off, wasn't it, for the rest of them. And then into the Q2 session, Kevin Magnussen finished in 15th, and he'll be disappointed with that because his teammate has just done a phenomenal job in qualifying. I mean, as we've seen last season, to be honest, he's been absolutely on it, Nico Hülkenberg. Daniel Ricciardo will be disappointed. He's been beaten by his teammate. They'll line up 14th for the race tomorrow. Alex Albon 13. I think that was a decent result actually for them. Let's see what they can pull off in the race tomorrow. Is some points on for him, who knows. Lance Stroll in 12th. Again, he'll be disappointed because he's been hammered by his teammate. Yuki, a decent performance in 11th. He'll be in the shot for some points tomorrow. He beats his teammate as well, so a really good start for him. But it was Nico Hülkenberg who pulled off a brilliant P6 in that session to get himself into the Q3. Alonso had a really good run, isn't it, in P5, but the big disappointment there, Stroll and Ricciardo both beaten by the teammate. The top four was Leclerc, Verstappen and then Sainz, followed by Lewis Hamilton. The Mercedes just didn't really quite look like they were in a fight for pole at that stage, did they? And actually it got worse for Lewis, didn't it, into Q3. 10th for Nico Hülkenberg, but I think he just did an absolutely phenomenal job to get there. No one saw the Haas team being that good and getting that close. Lewis Hamilton 9th place. He had a really poor last run. Ended up way back. P8 for Piastri, Norris in P7. I think the McLarens might be a little bit disappointed, but they're in for a fight and it's much better than where they started last season. Fernando Alonso, he was extremely happy with the P6. He was right in the mix again. Sergio Perez, I think he'll be disappointed. He's in 5th place, nearly half a second off his teammate. Carlos Sainz in 4th. George Russell with a brilliant lap to get in P3 because, like I said, they just didn't look as like they had the lap in them to be fighting for pole at any stage throughout the qualifying session, to be honest, despite them putting in some decent laps in practice too, especially where they were 1 and 2, and yeah, it just kind of got away from them, didn't it? They were really buoyed by the practice 2 session, and I don't know where their pace went in this session, but a brilliant lap from Russell. I mean, to start P3, he'll be hoping for some action ahead of him to try and nick into the lead, but who knows. And it was Charles Leclerc, just missed out 2 tenths to Max Verstappen, who'll start the race on pole position again. I mean, actually, I think Ferrari threw this away rather than Verstappen winning this one, because if Charles had done his lap what he did earlier in Q2, it would have been on pole position. So the Ferrari really had it in them to be on pole. It wasn't to be. But Max, yeah, he's going to be the one to beat, because everybody said it'd be close potentially on one lap, but in the race, the Red Bulls look mighty. But who knows? It's the first race of the season. Could Ferrari have finally got over their gremlins of being hard on the tyres or soft? I mean, the 3 good and the 3 bad to come out that session was the Alpine was shocking. The same for Sargent. Again, it was a poor session, and a P9 for Hamilton. The 3 good I think I've picked out was George Russell. He starts in P3. Yuki Tsunoda beats his teammate in P11. A brilliant start for the season for him. And it was just so close. I mean, in that last session, it was from P1 to P9, just half a second. From P2 to P9, it was like 0.3. I mean, the only outlier there was Nico Hülkenberg, who made it 1.3 seconds off from P1 to P10. I mean, it was an absolutely brilliant session. It's anybody's game. It's what we really hope for, and what we tend to get when we get these regulations over a couple of seasons, steady regulations where the racing gets tight, which begs the question, why are we changing it again in 2026? I mean, hopefully next year should be even better with the evolution, who knows. And I think that's the sort of what we get, the disappointment, isn't it? We've seen that crescendo in 21. We've got a phenomenal season, and then we changed regulations and we've got one team that pulls off something mega, but we seem to be heading back towards that, and it is only going to be fantastically exciting going forward into the race tomorrow, because who knows? I think Max will probably have enough to get P1, but we don't know with that. But who's going to be in there for second? I mean, Mercedes showed good race pace, and that was probably one of their strengths over testing and not one lap qualifying, and they're lining up in P3 with George Russell. The Ferraris, we know their strength was 1 lap pace, but who knows how they're going to end up in over the race distance. And actually their race pace in testing hasn't been too bad, to be fair to them. Alonso is right in the mix also. Again, their weakness was the 1 lap pace, but the testing showed their race pace was actually really decent. Same with the McLarens, to be honest with you, and it's actually really close. I mean, we're talking half a second, 0.3 from 1st to 9th. It's probably one of the tightest fields I think we've seen in an absolutely massively long time. But yeah, I can't wait for the action tomorrow for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's on a Saturday for us folk in the UK. It's moved forward one day. I can't wait for the action to get going. But that was, yeah, really good. Sets us off fantastically well for the season ahead. To know that the Red Bull haven't just pulled off a rocket ship and they're going to fly off into the distance. I mean, it could all change tomorrow, but off what we've seen in qualifying, it's been brilliant, and just gives you hope that we can get some really good action. But Max is in the hunt. It could be 18 out to 19 wins if he wins tomorrow, and that'll be he's just going to stretch that lead. It'll be brilliant for him. But let's see. I can't wait for the action to get going. Watch out for the race review tomorrow. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. Thanks for watching. See you next time.